This is the Kenya News Wave. Welcome back. Today is the final farewell for Gloria Sekeiyan Khalwale. She is being laid to rest at Malinya today. Friday, August 21st, 2026, the Khalwale family gathers at their home in Malinya, Ikolomani, for one of the most painful moments of a family that a family can ever have. They are saying goodbye to Gloria Sekeiyan Khalwale, a wife, a mother, a companion, and a woman whose sudden death just 6 days ago left her family and many Kenyans struggling to understand how life could change so quickly. Gloria died on Saturday, August 15th, after suddenly collapsing. Her husband, who is Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale, announced that she had suffered a heart attack. The announcement came with devastating simplicity. My dear wife, Gloria Sekeiyan Khalwale, has this morning suddenly collapsed and died after a heart attack. Khalwale said, those words began a week of mourning. That has now brought the family to the final day. Today, Gloria's body will be lowered into the ground at the Khalwale family home in Malinya, where she will spend eternity surrounded by the land and people she called home. The funeral program released by the family records her life as 1981 to 2026. At just 44 years, depending on her exact date of birth, Gloria's life ended far earlier than anyone around her experienced. And perhaps that is what makes his funeral so painful. There was no long public farewell. No prolonged illness announced to the nation. No indication that a final goodbye was approaching. There was simply a sudden collapse, and then a family was left preparing a funeral. Gloria leaves behind 8 children with Senator Boni Khalwale, Engine Kukase, Olivia Sabai, Flavia Shimuli, Gift Atubuka, Melissa Kamwenyi, Velma Nasiebanda, Sonia Inuni, and Maura Makase. For those children, today is not about politics. It's about losing their mother. It's about the empty seat at home, the voice they will no longer hear, the mother they'll no longer be able to call, and the memories they will now become their most precious connection to her. For Boni Khalwale, today's burial is the closing chapter of a painful week. Images and reports following Gloria's death showed the senator overcome with emotion as he confronted the reality of losing his wife. On Thursday, her body finally returned home to Malinya. A procession of border riders, residents and vehicles accompanied the hearse as Gloria made her final journey home. And at the family compound, Khalwale personally marked and cleared the area where her grave could be prepared. Today, that grave will become Gloria's final resting place. The tragedy has also brought together political leaders who normally stand on opposite sides of Kenya's political divide. President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto sent their condolences to the Khalwale family, saying the loss of a spouse, companion, and mother leaves a deep void. The president pledged his support and prayed that God could give the family strength, comfort, and peace. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi also mourned Gloria, describing her death as a sudden and untimely, and praying for strength and courage for the family. The National Assembly Speaker Moses Masika Wetangula visited the Khalwale family in Malinya on Thursday. Wetangula described losing a spouse and mother as deeply painful and remembered Gloria as a warm and hospitable woman who welcomed visitors to the Khalwale home with kindness. He also conveyed President William Ruto's condolences to the family. For the opposition and political movements outside government, there were also messages of grief. Wiper Party leader Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka described Khalwale as his dear friend and expressed sympathy to him and the 8 children Gloria left behind. Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna sent his condolences and prayed that God could comfort the family. Bumula MP Jack Wamboka described Gloria's death as devastating and said the Linda Mwananchi movement stood with Khalwale during what he called the family's darkest hour. Vihiga Senator Godfrey Ososi also expressed shock as Gloria's sudden death and prayed for strength for Khalwale, the children and the entire family. ODM Communications Director Philip Etale also mourned Gloria, extending his condolences to Khalwale, the family, the people of Malinya and the wider Kakamega community. Alego Usonga MP Samuel Atandi was also among those who sent messages of sympathy. Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa, despite his political differences with Khalwale, also put politics aside and mourned Gloria, extending his condolences to the senator, his family and friends. That has perhaps been one of the striking features of Gloria's death. For a moment, politics has disappeared. Government and opposition leaders have stood together around a grieving family. The arguments, campaigns and political battles can wait, because death has a way of reminding everyone that behind every politician is a human being. Someone who has a family. Someone who loves. Someone who grieves. And someone who eventually must say goodbye. Today, Boni Khalwale is not standing before Kenyans as a senator. He is a husband burying his wife. And his 8 children are not looking at him as a politician. They are looking at their father as they prepare to say goodbye to their mother. The Khalwale family chose a powerful biblical verse for Gloria's memorial. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. Psalms 116:15. Those words will carry a different meaning today as the family gathers around her grave. The flowers will eventually fade. The mourners will eventually return to their homes. The speeches will end. The crowds will disappear, but the silence left behind by Gloria's absence will remain. There will be always birthdays when the family members and remembers her. There will be Christmases where her absence will be felt, of course. There will be family gatherings where someone instinctively expects her to talk, walk through the door, but she will not. And there will be 8 children growing older while carrying memories of their mother who was taken from them so suddenly. Today, Malinya becomes the place where those memories will live forever. Gloria came into this world in 1981. She lives it in 2026. A life of roughly 4.5 decades, but a legacy that will continue through her children, her family and the people who knew and loved her. As the final prayers are said today and her body is lowered into the earth, one chapter of the Khalwale family's story will come to an end. But Gloria's memory will not. She will live in the children she raised. She will live in the memories of her husband. She will live in the stories told by relatives and friends. And she will live in the home in Malinya that she once shared with her family. Today is not simply a burial. It's a final goodbye to a wife, a final goodbye to a mother, a final goodbye to Gloria Sekeiyan Khalwale. And as the soil covers her grave, one thing will remain painfully clear. A mother may be laid to rest, but she will never truly gone from the hearts of the children she leaves behind. May Gloria Sekeiyan Khalwale rest in eternal peace, and may God give Boni Khalwale, her 8 children and the entire Khalwale family the strength to carry on after this devastating loss.